Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and all you lovely people out there in the world of wherever you are. It's the S.H.O.P, the social hub of positivity, on tour, but not far from our home in Emery Gate, with the wonderful Liam Lathbury, who some people know, and I know lots of young people I had the pleasure of working with, know this gentleman for being the founder and head coach at the wonderful Emeralds Boxing Club in Chippenham. But I don't need to tell you more. This man will tell you. How's it going, big man?
Yeah, very well, thank you. Yeah, we're getting there slowly.
Yeah. How long?
Running this gym?
Yeah.
9 years, but obviously we missed a year with COVID.
Yeah.
So obviously it was quite hard to carry on paying the rent and stuff through that, but we did so. Now we're still here surviving.
Right. Now, as I said before, you know that Can Do does loads of work in the community up and down the country. Talked earlier about some of the places we've worked in Salford and in Limerick and Ireland where they've had gyms and what have you. Massively important part of communities, particularly the areas that we work in. Any police, any anti-social behaviour initiatives that we've been in London, Brixton, Camden, everyone seemed to be associated with a multitude of sports, but football and boxing, martial arts, right up there. What's the support like in this area for boxing?
The support from the general public?
I know the support's fantastic.
The general public's massive.
Love it,
yeah, we've got a real good following. A lot of people behind us.
Yeah.
A lot of small companies put their hands in their pockets and help us out.
Yeah.
Especially when shows are coming up. You know, they're really generous, which is a big benefit. Council-wise, it's been a real big struggle.
Really?
I don't know why.
Right across the board, lots of youth initiatives have been shut. I mean...
Yeah, I can understand that, but I mean...
Well, I can't. It's a ridiculous idea.
I can understand why they're doing it for financing, but it doesn't make any sense to me because obviously I know someone quite high up in the police.
Yeah.
And they've said to me, for every £1 they spend, saves them £4 in the future.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, you know, you're going to get a backlog with this sooner or later.
100%.
And, you know, young people's mental health is big on the agenda for everyone these days. And
well, thankfully, because it never was, and it was still out there being deteriorated.
But it's weird that they're deteriorating the things that help.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't understand it.
And I'm with you 100%. I keep banging on, particularly on these podcasts in the Chippenham area, about having the bridge centre. We used to use it more than the youth service. And yet, when we talked to the council about us taking it over until they had found a better use, let's face it, if they think a better use for the bridge centre is a car park, because ironically, they spent loads of money on a car park, which, because the youth have got nowhere to go, they're using the Sadler's Mead car park, hanging out, but bizarrely, cars aren't really using it. So the place that the young people could have hung out and did all these positive initiatives, including all sorts of activities right across the board, a big offer with us, with organisations like yourself, in a place that they could do what they needed to do in a safe environment, gone, it's a car park. It's also, is it a travesty, a tragedy, or a damn right disgrace, sir?
Well, it's a disgrace, isn't it, really, for the town?
Yeah.
You know, you've shut something down that was a heart and soul of the youth.
Yeah.
I know it needed a lot of attention.
Yeah.
I know it needed moving with the times. But the biggest thing that I've come up against with many of people I've had discussions with is when you mention youth clubs, they go, oh, nobody wants to play table tennis or play pool and that anymore. No, they don't. You're right.
Exactly right.
So you
So that's you saying that.
You needed to get rid of the people that were running it and bring in fresh blood with young
100%.
ideas.
100%.
And that's where they went wrong.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that also there was and it's very much a conservative, but I said that I struggle with most political parties these days, but conservatives, the idea of austerity, which was laughable considering they did austerity from 2008 or whatever, it went on from beyond. And yet when the pandemic came, they couldn't spend enough money, particularly to give people that were connected to them PPI contracts. So the money's there if they want it. H2O, what's that about? That's totally unnecessary, particularly in the pandemic. What will always be needed and is being, as you say, eroded is people like yourselves in the community, because you don't get paid for this, do you? This is a passion.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Complete. Everyone here. I've got a team of guys that help me, including my family.
Yeah.
And everyone is a volunteer.
Right. See, this is absurd for me. However, when I was doing consultation for the Department of Culture and I was in the Home Office, I was talking about individuals like yourself, not by name, but by saying what they needed to do was to go into each of the communities, find people like yourself who have a passion and a knowledge for the community and come up to you and say, right, this is amazing, and I know it is because we have lots of young people over the years that come here. So it's like fantastic. So when you're inquiring about them, and you know they're doing something like this, you know they're halfway there, aren't they?
Yeah.
So then I follow them up. How's the boxing going? Are you doing the training? Blah blah blah. Oh, I'll be able to break their what's about it, because I know how important the dedication is. Coaches like yourself, you've actually got really big, not big physically, but successful boxers out of this gym.
Yeah, we've had eight national champions. We've had
amazing,
3 represent England, 1 represent Wales. Because that's where they were originally from.
Yeah.
We've had 2 lads turn professional. I have many lads come to me asking me to train them as professionals.
Yeah.
Which some I do, some I don't, depending on time scales.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I want to be a community hub, right?
Yeah.
The heart and soul is boxing.
Yeah.
Now, if you come in here, of course, I want you to be a champion. But if you come in here and you're a nervous little kid and you leave here 6 months later, never boxing, but you're now a confident person, that's a win for me.
Oh, 100%. Now,
and that's the bit that people seem to miss.
Totally.
It's not just going out and winning titles,
Absolutely, and it's also not about promoting violence. I think other people also think that obviously my family, so we were into taekwondo and judo and all that stuff back in the day. Don still is now, but before he got into that discipline, let's just say that his way of letting off steam wouldn't have been a proactive or necessarily the most pro-social thing. So getting people, and I've worked in prisons and stuff, so therefore, if you're trying to find out, if you're going into these communities and finding out people like yourself and saying, what is it you need? What is it you need? You're obviously doing brilliant. What might be lacking here? So the idea would be, you might say funding, absolutely. It might be someone to run the administration, whatever it is. That's what the governments need to be doing.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be premises for every gym I know. It's going to be premises, or it's going to be affordable premises.
Yeah.
Chippenham is a rural town.
Yeah.
We're on the M4 corridor.
Yeah.
The house pricing here is ridiculous.
Yes. So we talk about space and
the space is ridiculous. And obviously, in comparison to somewhere like Swindon, there isn't as much space.
Yes.
So when it does come up, there's a lot of people want it. So it's but you just think with everything that's gone on and shops empty. I know Borough Parade, I counted down there 5 shops empty.
Yeah.
3 of them been empty for over a year.
Yeah.
Why isn't there community stuff going on in them?
Yeah. Now, obviously, there's at one stage there's the community hub in
the one on the end has come up recently.
Yeah.
I've heard rumours of the deal they got, which I'd snap their hand off if that was offered to me.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, to the council, surely they should have come back to me and said, look, there isn't anything we can do immediately.
Yeah.
But what we could do is we could offer you this shop for 2 years.
Yes.
For this amount of money.
Yeah.
Give me some space.
Yes, absolutely. Because as you know, we run a community hub in Emerygate.
Yeah.
And we've got all sorts of workshops and stuff. I think we're about to turn the downstairs into another art space because there's an artist that wants to have a studio to work with the community. Because upstairs, in what was Dorothy Perkins, obviously people come in and whatever, and they do art and stuff, but there's a need, particularly with art or whatever, to have a bit of privacy and maybe to try out bigger and try out bigger techniques. This particular initiative, what sort of size building are we talking about?
Ideally, our dream is to have something sort of 3,000 square feet.
Right. Yeah.
Right, just on one floor.
Yeah.
Nothing fancy. A toilet.
Yeah.
Someone says to me, "There it is." I'll sort the rest out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got plenty of trades and that within the business, though, within the gym, though.
Yeah. What's the crack with Olympia then? Why haven't?
I always forget Maya. I always forget her second name. Counsellor.
Myla Watts.
Myla Watts.
Absolutely.
So she is the only one. She has been an absolute diamond.
Yeah.
She has gone out and above 100%. And beyond.
Now, so this is important because I'm often heard criticising counsellors, right? Now, I don't do it for a hobby, and it does my reputation, even though I work with the hardest to reach, like yourself, right across the board, and do possibly with the colleagues and what have you, looking at some of the darker areas of the community. I take great offence that people who are doing that for a hobby don't really understand the full extent of the problems or the solutions, and yet they're willing to block people like ourselves. However, I'm with you, sir. She actually phoned me. Myla phoned me. This is part of the reason why we got into this interview.
Well,
to see, was there anywhere I could recommend? Now, the bit I'm talking about downstairs in the social hub is nowhere near what you're talking about. And I thought about it because we have music down at the moment, and that kind of worked, but at the same time, loads of noise, and we've had complaints from the other shops. I get that. So how do we utilise that as a community space? Would a boxing gym? No. Why not? Because it's really, I could show you it actually.
Yeah.
You would say, no way, we couldn't even fit, there's no square bit of that.
But this is the bit that
you need toilets and you need
this is
showers.
the bit I was trying to get at.
Yeah.
And no, we don't need showers.
Do you not think so?
Well, we do. We do,
you would
obviously,
ideally.
but
Yeah.
like the dream's the dream.
Oh,
but,
we do.
Yeah, the dream's the dream, but you deal with what you got.
Oh, the minimum you
know,
want is that and a toilet. Yeah,
you play with the cards you're dealt, you know.
Yeah.
And basically, we're working out of less now, and we're achieving what we're achieving.
Yeah.
So, you know, if someone said to me, look, I can't give you that, but I can give you 1,500 square feet for 2 years to buy you a bit of breathing space, then brilliant.
Yeah.
You know?
Because let's face it, we're not talking about you starting this idea with the idea of going, maybe we could, whatever. Even if you were just starting it, by the way, as I said, you know, I've talked to you about Oliver's gym up in Salford. Above that, just because there was extra space, they gave it to the local community as a youth club. But they obviously having the connection that when you turn up to that building, you could go left and you could start your boxing career. Or as you say, just a fantastic community initiative where you're going to see mums, dads, aunties and uncles there. You know?
So the thing is, it's really weird because I started this because I wanted to give something back to the community.
Yeah.
And I boxed and I wanted to put it back.
Yeah.
So one of the big things that I really wanted to do is build a community hub, like I said.
Yeah.
But that community hub that I wanted to use with boxing as its sole initiative.
Yeah.
But obviously we wanted to have branches off of that.
Yeah.
And obviously stuff has slowed us down, and with COVID and obviously probably not having a home to go to, the agenda's changed.
Yes.
So we've moved in different directions and different places, but I still have an ultimate plan.
Yeah.
And that ultimate plan is to whatever space we have to try and use as a youth club. And not on a Wednesday night, because that ain't when the kids need something to do. It needs to be a Friday night or a Saturday night. You know, we wanted to run once a month youth discos or something, you know. I know the odd nightclub used to do it now and again, didn't they, on like a Monday or a Tuesday night. It's not when kids want to do something. They want to do something at the weekend.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, and it just doesn't happen, you know.
No, I agree. So that's brilliant that you have a wider understanding.
Oh yeah, well, I've got a massive picture. I'd like to get involved with the schools.
Yeah.
You know, I'd like to have the schools sending the kids that have behavioural problems.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of success personally working with kids with behavioural problems.
That's how I know we
know
the same kids.
That's how. Yeah.
So we know the same kids. So when they're talking what they're doing, and they tell me you come in here and go, jobs are good, and sometimes they give them the money, and it's not very much money, is it?
No, we keep it as cheap as we can because I want people to be able to afford to do it.
Absolutely.
You know?
So I've never had a problem paying it because it's not very much money, but it's such a good initiative. I cut across you when we talked about Myla saying about the Olympia. What was the crack with the Olympia?
Oh yeah, she's tried everything, to be honest. She's been an absolute diamond. She really has worked hard, and she's given up her time to help us.
No, I know, fantastic woman. But what
the Olympiad just come back with a out and out no.
Why?
Didn't really get a reason.
But surely, is it now? Is it not owned by Wiltshire Council?
Yeah, well, that's really why I done it, because I was trying. Obviously, I've get me ear to the ground on everything, and I found out it was getting handed back.
Yeah.
And I thought, if it's getting handed back, and I can say I'll give you X amount a year, guaranteed for whatever, all you've got to do is give me this bit of space and let's have our own key.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting.
And I'll work within the parameters of the times you're open.
Yeah, of course.
I didn't understand why not.
Yeah. How can that possibly be acceptable practice? Now, I can imagine the Olympiad's more geared to sport than it is to music. I know they do performances. So you would imagine an ideal home for a boxing club, even if it was starting, would be there. But one with such a reputation, grounded in the community, with the success that you've had, what more would you need to do? I don't get it.
I don't get it either, because also we'd have been, because they've got the sports halls there, we'd have continuously put boxing shows on, which they'd make money out of, you know, their bar and food and stuff. So.
So for me, it's all tied in.
Yes, a no-brainer.
Everything down there is a no-brainer. That's worth inquiring about then.
I mean, it's also like you said earlier about the multi-storey car park.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you know, what a ruining of a picturesque place, you know.
100%. And I've heard all sorts of
stuff.
No
one's parking there.
No.
It's become a hub of antisocial behaviour.
Yeah.
So I said when that was first being built, I know a company was going in the offices at the front, which are now not going there because they're all working from home.
Yeah.
So they're sat there rotting.
Yeah.
And also I said, well, what about having like 20 spaces?
Yeah.
We'll build it.
Yeah.
and we'll sort it all
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
Just give us the
Yeah.
area. No. But it don't get used.
Yeah, it's oh my god. So you want to know. I certainly do. Who's behind all these decisions? Where's the consultation?
Well, I've had all these things like I had the local MP down here, and they reckon that I've had all these correspondence. There was correspondence from both sides, so I'll accept that. But you know, I just get politician answers all the time. Same with everybody. I've dealt with councillors. I've dealt with that Peter Hutton guy who's supposed to do the youth.
Oh yeah, they're supposed to do the. Pete,
you know, basically just got told nothing we can do.
Yeah,
And
but
then-
I think you do because bless them.
Like it went to some other higher up councillor who's supposed to make decisions.
Yeah.
And the MP did write a letter for us, and she just got a response from them saying these meetings that I'd had, which I haven't had.
Yeah.
I'll put that out there publicly, and I've said it to everyone.
Yeah.
I haven't had them.
Yeah.
If I have, show me the minutes from the meetings.
Yeah.
Because they haven't happened.
Yeah.
I've had that one meeting, which was a coffee across a table.
Yeah.
And nothing was really discussed. Basically, that he'd asked a couple of his mates.
Yeah.
Then a phone call. I can't do nothing.
Yeah.
So I don't know. And all they've basically come back with is you need to make it a business. You need to be earning this much money. You need to be using it more. And I said, well, if I had the space, I would.
Yeah.
But I'm not trying to run a business. The way it comes across to me is if I had someone's relative that was in here, I'd probably be getting a bit more help.
Of course you would.
You know?
Of course you would. If any.
Sadly,
but that's how so say the world works.
Yeah.
But for me, part of the reason of doing these podcasts, part of the reason of Essential Communities, you kind of got to wake up. That's what's good about the independent miler and those independents, because at least they haven't got a party political agenda.
It is funny you say that, because I made it my passion to go round every notice board I could find in Chippenham to find out their emails and their phone numbers.
Yeah.
And what I done was I text messaged all of them, because you don't get responses from emails.
Yeah.
So I text messaged everybody.
Yeah.
And the only ones that got back to me were two independent. They were the only ones that
Makes you think, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Now, that's a problem on all sorts of levels. Cronyism, local cronyism, the amount of money that's spent. Now, I don't know about you. I have never, and you probably lived in Chippenham, been associated with Chippenham. I came in this area when I was 15, left to go to London for about 10 years at 22, but Don and everything has been, all those years as well. How many times have you ever heard a kid that you've ever worked with say, I'd love a climbing wall? Never heard. We've done loads of, over the years.
I've never even noticed anyone from Wiltshire represent their country in climbing walls either.
Funny that. So we've asked the questions there. Where's the consultation? Why are people in positions of spending money?
So I went for a
not
meeting
consulting?
when that was originally being planned.
Yeah.
And basically got told that was from the Boroughlands Trust.
Yeah.
I went there.
Charity,
I was working with a police officer at the time. We went up there for a meeting, and we basically got told whatever we borrowed, we would have to pay back.
Borrowed?
Yeah, money wise.
What, from them?
Yeah, whatever we.
They got the money free. It's not even their money. It's the people at Chippenham's money, just in case.
So I
they
got a
forgot.
load of stick because I said it in the paper.
Yeah.
So I got a load of stick saying, why did you mention us on Facebook? And I just went, listen, I come for a meeting.
Yeah.
It was one of your people that told me whatever I borrowed, I'd have to pay back at commercial rate.
Yeah.
I went, well, that's why I'm here, because I can't afford commercial rate.
Yeah.
Then I got told this project was happening, and then I got told there wouldn't be no space for me.
Wow.
And I went, but we haven't even had a proper conversation about it. Because I could go, at that point, I could have went to England Boxing with Sport England and got some funding to make it a little bit bigger on the side.
Yeah.
We basically just got told to get lost.
Wow. We've been talking to councillors about, because we have obviously have great success with film, theatre, music. We've had lots of people come to Chippenham, Michael Ball, Jerome Flynn, to name but two, Connor Neal at the Neal Tool. We've been consulted over the years about what could be the best use of that place, and we've gone, right, well, we know, as I told you before, I said work at Wembley Stadium, for Christ's sake. Loads of the professional musician, blah, 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 blah. We could possibly, as a community initiative, get money from the Arts Council and stuff to make that a functioning community arts centre that puts on mainly local stuff so that everyone can celebrate like you do here with your shows.
It's funny you say that, because I've got a professional drummer that comes down here.
Yeah.
And I've known him for years. And there was going to be like a big stage, which hasn't happened.
Yeah.
That was on the original plan.
Yeah.
And they spoke to him, and he said, well, it's facing the road. It would be crazy. Yeah. You'll just lose all the noise.
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't know. They just told him to sort of get lost.
It's funny because they used to ask me.
But even where they've put it, do you know what I mean? You've put it next to assisted living. Now I know for a fact, them top assisted living apartments have cost some serious money.
Yeah.
Right now, if I've paid all that money, I live there.
Yeah.
I don't want to be hearing a load of kids messing around at 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
So you know what's going to happen? It'll be shut at 7 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
Then the antisocial behaviour will happen. Then the police will be down there all the time.
Yeah.
And I would not be surprised within 10 years' time if it's not shut, a bit like the Cool.
Yeah, well, funny enough you say that. Funny enough, again.
What a waste of a building.
Waste of building, what waste of everything. Where was consultation about that?
Who's paying for this stuff is what annoys me.
Yeah.
And I mean, I work as a postman, right? So I know the development within Chippenham. I know the development within Wiltshire. So I know what's happening now, but I know what's going to come because we get sort of wind of it early on.
Yeah.
Now, Section 106 Act, part of money goes into the council, the Town Council and Wiltshire Council, which is supposed to be used for community projects.
Yeah.
The amount of building that's going on in this town and has gone on in the past 5 years, where is this money?
Yeah.
Where's it gone?
Interesting, everyone out there who hasn't got a hobby. Yeah.
You know, where has it gone?
Contact me. I want to know exactly what he's saying because it's unbelievable. It beggars belief.
But you're not talking about peanuts.
No,
you're
I know.
talking
I know.
about a lot of money.
Oh my God, I know. So I want to know where. I'm with you. I think that part of the responsibility as a community. Don't know how to describe us. We certainly work with lots of different members of the community, and we try and help them. So we're doing our bit. It's really galling when people who aren't even physically doing their bit, they're attending council meetings or whatever they're doing. It's all really nicey, but the reality of it is, you're not doing the hard hours. You're not doing the hard miles. You're not forging the relationships that can determine. And I've worked in prisons as well. The difference between an outcome in not just a young life, it can be at any stage, but obviously the earlier you're intercede, the better. Now, initiatives like yourselves and ones that stretch across the community and have that engagement don't get the support. You're 100% right, and they said it in the paper, said it all over. It's what I call negative spend. Would you rather spend the limited amount of cash, so say, unless you're a conservative and you can invent the stuff, do you want to spend it on negative spend like replacing windows, putting young people through the courts, etc., and the damage to the lives of the people and the victims of themselves, etc., or would you, like you said it kind of as a percentage before earlier on, you've got you would be spending on a gym or you'd be spending on a youth club, whatever, the type of initiative that is going to stop, because people feel part of their community, stop them thinking that they're antisocial because they don't think the society they live in cares about them. How would teenagers, young people particularly, and forget the borough lands thing, because for me, the skateboard park, people have been consulting about it for years, and fair enough. Wiltshire Council should have done that. It's our money. We should have put it there. Borough lands money is money for people in Chippenham. I don't understand how people from Bristol are running the climbing thing. Hasn't been put out to tender. The building of it, was it a Chippenham firm that built it, etc., etc.
We all know why, but nobody ever wants to say it, do we?
Well,
it's always because there's a bit of that going on, isn't there?
Well, do you know what?
Well,
allegedly, right? Allegedly, maybe it's because I can't do that. I can't receive it. Why have I got to do it up front when all these dodgy...
It depends where your morals lie, doesn't it? That's the difference.
Absolutely.
But
so obviously that's an allegation. Allegation. It's not an allegation. It's a supposition. Statement. Yeah, but it's a supposition based on... Surmising. And rightly so, because you weren't the first person that said that. And not just in this town, but in all over.
But we should be able to follow the trail, right? So
try it.
As it's...
See the trail we've got coming.
As it is...
Yeah.
Public money, and as it is public funding that should be spent on what the people of the public want in their own town, then why can't we see the tender?
It's all smoke and mirrors.
Yeah,
exactly. That's for me. Show us the tender. We asked them, by the way.
Yeah,
we asked them.
Show me the 3 people locally that were too expensive.
Yeah.
And I'll say fine.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you can.
Why wouldn't ask anybody? Exactly that. So that's one level. How they don't have a straight away going, what are the resources, what are the different initiatives in this town that are trying to better and support the people of the town? Now, I don't care what people think about skateboarding. Personally, not interested.
No.
But I've worked with enough young people over the years to know that time and time again, they've asked for a skate park. They had one, so it's not as if it's impossible to build one. They had one that was moved. It was by where the new, say, office blocks are now. It was then moved to where the Mugger, where the old pool used to be. Right, they were shut down. Absurd. Who are making these decisions? And now they didn't have one for years and years. And next they have one that's been supplied by a borough lands which are supposed to be spending that money. It's for the people of Chippenham. Shouldn't be given to religious organisations, etc., etc. Look at who they're giving their money to.
It'd be interesting to know.
Look, I dare you.
It'd be interesting to know the exact figure that the council put into that.
Yeah.
I know there is a figure. I don't know what it is, but I bet it's a lot more than what everybody believes.
Well, but again, so back to what we're
which is good, because the council should be paying.
Oh my God, they should be paying for the whole lot. But I think what's happened over the years is certain councillors potentially have been on the board of borough lands, for instance.
Well, it's back to what we're saying. Back to what you were saying earlier about the youth. The thing is, you've got the wrong people doing jobs. They're all in the wrong position.
Yeah, okay. But I do appreciate, so people out there, if you're known to be a good councillor, and there are great councillors that work with them up and down the county, politicians of all flavours, by the way. I'm not party political. People think I am. I'm not. I say it as I see it, and and there's loads of people told me when I'm talking about various councillors, other councillors are telling me how much they agree with it, saying, yeah, they're up against it. They're being meetings with these people who quite obviously, A, don't really know what they're talking about, and B, haven't got the best interests of the community. Now, back to you, this is absolutely kind of one of them ones. For me, it's an exemplar of how it can work if you've got the right people with the right passion, knowledge in a place. What's coming up? What can the people out there do to support you in this great initiative to keep going? What could someone out there, how could they contact you? What would you want them to do? What would be the bit that would help?
I mean, we're all over Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all the stuff.
Do we put all that in and make sure we get Liam and the whole contact thing?
We've got a website. Facebook is usually the one that most people go through. Our numbers are on there. Obviously, what we need is some space, or someone to give us a sponsor.
Yeah.
And the trouble is, you start talking about it and everyone just thinks, oh, it's money and all that. Well, of course it's money. But if you're putting into a community project, obviously it's a tax write-off straight away. Yeah. Because it's a sponsorship.
Yes.
Or publicity. Yeah. Whichever way you want to do it, advertising. Our main objective is to take everyone that we can from the town. Yeah. And an old boxing trainer told me years and years ago, the best way to describe boxing is it puts an old head on young shoulders. Yeah. And the more we can do that, the better for the whole community. And not just as they're young, as they get older, they'll have a totally different outlook on life.
Absolutely.
But you can't take a market town that's small and just explode it with buildings
without providing
stuff for the community to do.
100%. It's crazy.
You're not even providing jobs. No. And then I'll get the argument, they've built some supermarkets. Yeah, because they've got too many people to feed. Yeah. But that's not creating enough jobs.
And they're going to build more houses on the county farms, so we won't even be able to grow our own locally sourced food.
Crazy.
And then when things like Brexit or pandemic happens, we've got we can't survive. We've got loads of concrete, we've got floodplains that are built on, all the natural biodiversity is destroyed.
Well, you've been in Chippenham long enough to know, the cattle market.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We're a market town.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. Do you remember the old Friday market underneath?
Yeah, of course.
What happened to that?
Absolutely. There you go. So it's all those initiatives that seem to be gold diggers, that seem to be made by people who don't, not all of them, as I said, I can't emphasise it enough. If you're offended and you're a councillor by what I'm saying, it's probably because you're not a very good councillor.
Well, what are you trying to do? Turn Chippenham into a giant old people's home? Yeah. I don't understand.
Yeah. I mean, I'm on the way there myself. Don't get me wrong, brother. Don't get me wrong. I like that. Listen, if you're okay, here we go. Then we'll flip it. If you're a concerned senior citizen that you're worried about the youth of today, etc., and I've been many of those consultations, I'm telling you now, the people making decisions in and around these areas aren't thinking on your behalf. They're thinking about property developers, etc., etc. They couldn't be, because it's people like this gentleman here. And there's loads of great initiatives right across this town and the country, that if they're not supported, all that's going to happen is the courts and the prisons are going to be filled up. But on the way to that happening, your lives are going to be blighted. So when you're talking about who you're voting for, if you just blindly vote on a party political level and don't even think about the representative and what their abilities are to do the job, you are probably putting your vote down the drain. And the drain I'm talking about is how society's going, because just take Chippenham. You can't keep taking the infrastructure out and all the good stuff that happens like this for healthy living, mental health, you name it, antisocial behaviour. Ask anyone who's an expert at it. If you haven't got anywhere to go, particularly as a teenager, actually, to expel that negative energy, it gets expelled. Trust me, it gets expelled in all sorts of manner of antisocial behaviour, even if it's just loud noises at night, kicking people's front doors, right through to, and I've worked in the prisons, killing people. That's the bottom line, people. Take it seriously and start thinking who you're voting for. In the meantime, any other help you want from us, we'll come back. You've just got an update.
Yeah.
We've got a boxing match on, etc., etc.
Yeah, well,
Please tell us.
we're looking to put a few shows on very soon.
Where would you put them on?
Usually the Neald Hall.
Yeah, you see, now I've been to them. It's
Yeah.
fun, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's funny, that's a good multi-purpose community
good,
hub.
yeah.
Right, so that's why it should be run with people who know what they're talking about. And we got...
Because I approached them when they come out of the cafe.
Yeah, what's
I
that
said,
about?
couldn't we use the cafe and the bar at the back
Yeah.
just for a period of time?
Absolutely.
I just got told, no, they use it for meetings.
Who uses
Well, I've been
meetings?
told they only actually use it to have their lunch now and again.
Yeah, yeah.
But, hey.
Yeah. Right. And the war drags on. Can't wish you enough luck. Not I believe in luck, because yours is hard work. Absolutely, really delighted to meet you in this context.
Everything was impossible once.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
So
You're a big man, you're a good man. Fair play to you. More power to your elbow, and anything we do to support you, man, we'll be there.
yeah, brilliant.
All right, brother. Take it easy. That's a wrap, people.
Spinning at 1,000 miles an hour, just another speck in the cosmic shower.